Welcome to Commander Pop Culture, a place to gather magical information with some laughs, might I add.
I know it's been a while. I needed a little bit of a break from Magic. I thought it'd be good to talk about the only shit worth buying.
We spared no expense.
From Tarkir Dragonstorm. Pre-releases, I guess today, by the time you watch this video, so I'll be working on it tonight. Just to give you all a warning, if I had to rate on how I graded these cards, it would be based on convenience and power. What do I mean by convenience is it's good at any stage of the game. It's useful to you. So that's what I personally put stock into. Number 10, Afterlife from the Loam. Some would think this is a ridiculous number 10 pick, considering that it's very popular at $17. It's basically Sepulchral Primordial, only it's significantly better. A, because it nets you one extra body because you could hit your own graveyard. Number 2, it has cost reduction with Delve. It's easy to manipulate your own graveyard. It's harder to manipulate other people's graveyard. So the setup for that is significantly more obnoxious. You can't control what goes in there most of the time. I guess you could use removal. I only use removal on things I need to die, and I kind of just let things go more than I think the average person does. But then again, the average person doesn't know how to hold on to their single target removal, and they just kind of blow it on stupid shit. And then when we get to
shit has hit the fan
kind of phase, I'm the only one with anything to do anything. And then either we win the game or people deploy so many threats beyond that it outpaces how much removal I have in my hand at that point. In terms of another way you can manipulate other people's graveyards is you're playing a mill strategy where you're trying to mill other people. Again, it's random and it's not the most consistent. Baitor, akin to all. I like this version of Baitor more than the other one. I kind of am annoyed with all the clickbait bullshit on YouTube where people are doing the O faces and saying the other one's super awesome and great. You get all the effects from top to bottom. Unlike the other one where it cares about life gain and life loss, it triggers on end step. It remembers how much life you had, and you go from there. It doesn't track how much you lose or how much you gain in between. It just looks at your life total. Are you at less than what you started with, or are you above what you started? And if you're above, you get counters, or you animate something.
This bores me.
You would hope you'd get both, but you don't. It's strictly an overrated card for what it does. If you're gaining more life, then you have a Johnny Primate trigger that's delayed, whatever. On your end step, you get to draw a card. If you're at 20 toughness, you get to draw a card and untap all your creatures. So you get to attack with Reckless Abandon and have blocking. It's like pseudo vigilance. Then on your end step, if you have 40 or greater, you draw a card, untap all your creatures, and you force every opponent to lose half their life rounded up. It seems like it's just overkill. It's only effective against other decks that care about gaining a bunch of life because you take away all the effort that they make. I don't know in what scenario that can matter. For instance, if someone's at 10 life, they go to 5, and then they're going to die to a stiff breeze to one of your really powerful creatures anyways. So I would say of all the parts that are great about this, it's the 10 toughness and the 20 toughness. The 40 is just a cherry on top. But I think what pushes this above the other Baitor is that you get multiple effects versus just one or the other. Next up, Steward of the Harvest. The dream setup with this card is you find a strip mine in your graveyard, and then you have a very large board. Again, requires some setup. You need powerful lands in your graveyard, and you need a wide board. But unlike the first card we talked about, you can manipulate those pieces because they're your own pieces. Dragonback Assault probably makes the best token in Magic right now when it comes to you get a body for a land hitting the field. What's also really cool is it has a rubber band effect in that it's a mini board wipe. Clears out the board of all the little shitters, and then you'll be pumping out dragons and outscaling and outperforming from that point forward. The only other token that kind of like competes in the space that's in like the Land Matters decks are probably Omnath, because when the elementals die, lightning bolting people's stuff. Underneath this, we probably got like the Baloth tokens and maybe Titania tokens, the 5/3s. I think this is strictly the best because they're evasive and difficult to block. So you create a lethal attacking board really quick and really easy with this. Willows Hilti. As we move up, you will notice that like the conditions for making it powerful is easier. And it's a particularly game-breaking effect each and every single time. This is a haymaker kind of spell. If you have a commander in play, you get both effects. You mill 3, you return all lands from your graveyard to play, and then you put X+1/+1 counters on a creature, where X is the number of lands you control, and then it gains trample till end of turn. So you just one-shot someone, hopefully, with this spell. And since your commander is hopefully in play, you get both effects, and you just throw it on the commander to one-shot someone. It's a little bit of setup in terms of loading your graveyard and or playing a Lands Matter deck. Even if you are just playing a Lands Matter deck, this is a powerful spell where you're not even trying to mill, you're just dumping all your lands into play. You should be running this. Like, Karametra would love this kind of card. Windcrag Siege. I would probably strictly only pick the Mardu. Doing something once is not good enough in Commander. Doing something twice is even better. The Jeskai part of this is negligible. You're only going to be playing this in decks that care about attack triggers. Like, I feel like this is an auto-include in the Ishan deck. Frostcliff Siege, a $3 rare. This is like a go-wide strategy Wet Dream, because it kind of fixes two problems that those decks really have, and depending on the situation you are in, it gets you out of a jam. So the Jeskai half is whenever one or more creatures deal damage to a player, you draw a card. Most creature-heavy decks run out of cards really quick. Now the Teamer part. This is probably one of the best Anthem effects we've ever gotten at 3 mana. It gives you 2 keywords as well, which is a bit of a first. It's usually one or the other. You get haste and trample, so like that's the other problem that it fixes in the go-wide strategies, is sometimes you have a hard time getting in. Like if you're playing against another token deck, they just kind of stonewall and you just look at each other in a stalemate for a long freaking time.
What's up, bro? What, bro? What's up, bro? Take a swing, bro. Right here, bro.
And this fixes that problem pretty handedly. I'd say this is an automatic pickup. If you haven't bought one of these, I think this is a steal of a price. I think it's underappreciated and undervalued for what it does and how significant it is. Arena, the Song of Unending. I love this guy a lot in terms of the rubber band effect. The ETB trigger lets you shoot a number of target creatures or planeswalkers equal to the number of lands you control. Quite significant. The rubber band effect is you take your time amassing a bunch of mana so you can cast this, and then you level the playing field by taking away your opponent's pieces. So like all the turns that you spent ramping and falling behind everyone else while they're developing their boards, you just undo all that and you come out on top with a big 10/10 dragon with evasion and protection from black and white, which those are some really sick keywords. Couple that with this sick stat block, you just need the magic word of double strike and you probably one-shot people. Like, probably the Runes of Deuce's best friend here. Anything that gives double strike and an additional stat increase will just womp people. There's a couple of red cards that do that, and I'd probably run every single one of them. Super sick commander. I can't wait to play this and feature it on the channel and just show how powerful these rubber banding effects are. And it's like a Voltron list that doesn't have to be dedicated to Voltron. Ugin, Eye of the Storm. I think everyone kind of suspected that this would come up. Depending on which version you get, it's $66, and I think it's worth every single penny. It has a static effect of whenever you cast this spell, exile target permanent that's one or more colors, and then whenever you cast a color spell, exile up to one target permanent that's one or more colors. So you do it again, essentially. It's triggers on himself being cast and everything else that you cast. And the fact that it's a cast trigger is pretty wild. It's a little hard to interact with. The way I read it is it's a +2 gain 3 life, draw a card, or it's a 0, add a bunch of mana and start plinking additional things. If you're in a jam, you do the 3 mana so you could remove multiple permanents with one spell in the same turn. It does a lot the turn it comes down, I would say. And it's -11 is a sick ultimate. It's basically a -11 when you win the game because it lets you tutor a number of colorless non-land cards and you just play them for free. So because it's a cast, you get to cast them for free. If Ugin survives in -11, you exile all your opponent's stuff. You're the only one with stuff. It's super busted. I don't know how one could come back from a trigger like that. Other kind of like sick part is it costs 7 mana. There's a lot of significance with 7 is because 7 is the Ultron amount. So if you have all 3 of the Urza lands, the Mine, Tower, and I forget the other one, but there's 3 of them. If you have all 3, then they produce exactly 7 mana. 2 of them produce 2, and then if you have the third one, that one produces 3. You could potentially play this on turn 3 in modern decks, and I think that's where most of this price is coming from. Oddly enough, this one is the cheapest. It's one of the cooler looking versions. I don't like this side. This side looks awkward and weird.
Looks like somebody's been down here with the ugly stick.
It just looks uglier than Sin compared to this side. Or you could drop a pretty penny and get this really sick use of color palette. My one gripe are the hard border lines in random places. Like, I really wish this wasn't here, as well as this bottom section. Maybe it's a stupid gripe of mine. I would say this is a 10 out of 10. Wouldn't hesitate to buy it. I guess it just boils down to art style preference and your enjoyment of color. I like that this uses the full border, but the color is just pales in comparison to this. And I don't know why they gave Ugin these like Fonzie neck collar.
I mean, I'll take any guy as long as he's cool.
But he has them now. And our final pick, Nature's Rhythm. A $6 rare, taking my number 1 slot. The reason why this is super good is you get to tutor twice on a single spell. If you're playing 2-card combos, you get the biggest piece of your combo first, and then that big piece reduces the cost as you cast it from your graveyard. The classic with like Tooth and Nail is you get one thing that makes a lot of bodies, and then the other one you get Crater Hoof, and you just one-shot everybody. I feel like you do that with this, just with a little extra steps and a little more vulnerability, because Tooth and Nail puts them both in at the same time. You give your opponents a chance to interact, but there's not a lot of magic cards that let you tutor twice, and this is one of the very rare few. I'm super blown away that this is only going for $6. And that brings us to the end. I hope you enjoyed, I guess, seeing me again. For those of you that are new to this channel, I hope you enjoyed and learned something about these cards and why I think they're super powerful, and I hope this influences your thought processes when you pick cards for your 99 Commander, because every slot matters, every slot counts. Every slot should make your opponents sweat a little bit, and if you're not doing that, you probably need to reevaluate your choices and swap them out with something that does. And all 10 of these kind of have that effect, with the exception of the first 4 to 5, because they really need a synergistic build around to become powerful, while the back 5 are always good at any stage of the game. I'm going to post the commanders I'm interested in playing here soon, so make your votes in the near future. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.